Hi everybody, welcome back to Darlingbrough Model Railway. I'm Richard apparently. I've been saying it for months and I think it's about time that I actually did some work and made some progress on the layout. I've just kind of been putting it off really. I don't know why, I'm maybe a little bit nervous about laying down track, but I think it's about time that I started. So far, all I've got to show for the layout is the Rocky Bridge section, which I built initially. This corner here, I've got the drawbridge section, and that's it. So I think it's about time that I clear this lot and start getting some track down. Let's go. Okay, so now I've tidied up a little bit, what I'm going to do is connect the track from the drawbridge into the far corner and onto the shunting yard. Now, one of the issues I've got is with this corner here. The main problem is that there's not a huge space from this wall here to the edge of the drawbridge. That means that I'm really struggling to try and get a curve to go from the drawbridge onto where the shunting yard is going to begin without getting too close to the wall. I have had suggestions in the past of using FlexiTrack, which it might be a possibility. However, I'm not a fan, I'm not particularly confident in using FlexiTrack around a curve. The other option is to hang the end of the curved track onto the drawbridge, and instead of cutting it on the end, cut it sort of partially into the curve. Again, I'm not really happy with doing that. I think I'd be more confident in having a full curve rather than sort of one that's been cut somewhere in the middle. If I am to cut track, I would prefer to cut a straight piece of track rather than a curved piece of track. If anyone has any good ideas on what I can do in this corner here, please, as I say, get in touch with me. Drop me a comment down below, or you can contact me using some of the contact details up there. I decided to trim a small piece of the track off. I needed to get it soldered to see if this is going to work. Now for the moment of truth. Okay, so what I've done is, rather than using 2 full pieces of track, I've actually trimmed one down slightly using my rotary tool. I've then started to curve slightly earlier, and basically I've kind of wired it up, soldered it together. So far, a brief test seems like it's matching up quite nicely. I've had a few little derailments, but then again I'm just tweaking it at the moment. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this section powered as well, so I'm just going to add a couple of connectors on each end of this, and then what I'm going to do is get a bit of power on the track and just sort of have a go, seeing if I can get the train going from the Rocky Bridge section over to the start of where the shunting yard's going to be. Yeah. I just want to once again thank Chris Wadsworth, who told me about the soldering iron. Use the side of that on the heat shrink when applying it. I have just done so, and it works so much better than a naked flame. So appreciate the tip, and if anyone out there is soldering, then by all means take Chris's tip and use the soldering iron rather than a naked flame when getting your heat shrink to stick onto anything that you've soldered. Once I had finished wiring up the corner piece, I decided it was about time that I get on and test to see if this is going to work. So this curve is where the shunting yard will begin. So just to remind you, I was using a right hand point coming off the bend here. It would then go into a diamond crossing and then on into the rest of the shunting yard, which at the moment is just a pile of track. Now at the moment I'm simply using some old pieces of track and old point work. However, I've now got a few more pieces of brand new points which I am intending on replacing them with. I went for set track Peco points simply because most of the people I talk to recommend them. They apparently are the best to use, most reliable, and they're also really good in price as well. I've now got 2 right hand turns, 1 left hand turn and a short crossing. So although I'm not replacing all of the point work at the moment, I am replacing it piece by piece as I continue working on the layout. I will be changing the arrangement of the shunting yard as I continue to build the layout. So I've quickly put together the rest of the pieces to create a full loop. Now, let's power it and see what happens. In order to power it, I'm using the basic Hornby DC controller. It's got the little plug on it. You can see how often I've used it, it's still got the tag on it. I don't want to take that off. So I'm just going to plug it in. Nice and simple. We have power. It was only fair that I use my little blue diamond for the first test, as this was the original train I had. Hopefully it'll go this way. Great. As the first test goes, that wasn't the best, I'll be honest with you. I don't know whether it's the track, whether it's the controller, whether it's the train itself. I'm going to have to look into it, really. It is kind of going, but it's like coughing and spluttering and just really running a bit rough. I'm going to have a quick play with it and going to give the wheels a little clean, give the track a little clean, because I'll be honest, they've not been cleaned ever. So I'm going to go around with a little bit of isopropanol and just give the track a quick wipe down, just in case that's one of the issues, and try again. That's the dirt that's just come off a little single piece of track, so I can imagine how dirty the tracks are going to be. So let's see if this is now a little bit more successful. I've just given all of the track a really quick clean, and I've cleaned the wheels on the train as well. Hooray! Of course, it helps if you change the switches over for the points. Something I'm just getting used to. Saves derailing trains. I did notice that using the old points gave me some issues. I also noticed that when I was reversing some of the shell wagons into the shunting yard, it was also giving me some issues as well. They don't seem to like being pushed, they prefer to be pulled along, which is an issue I'll have to address later. But other than that, I was happy that things just ran, basically. I still managed to get a good little running session going and have some fun with the shunting yard and the trains as well. So it was nice to be able to run the trains in a complete loop without having to worry about stopping them at the edge of a cliff, otherwise they'll plummet to the floor. So there we go, we've actually managed to get some trains up and running. I've actually got quite a nice loop going at the moment. It's quite impressive, doesn't it? That's better. So I must admit the trains are running round in a circle, they are going in a loop. I have tested it both ways and they do seem to be working. I was quite concerned about over the drawbridge section where the track meets. I've not pinned anything down at all, everything's kind of loose. I've noticed that some of the trains aren't running particularly well. There's a lot of spluttering and stopping and starting. Now I'm wondering if there's anything I should be doing or could be doing to improve that. I am running DC. I am running the basic Hornby DC controller, which yes, I know probably a lot of people say chuck it in a bin and get something better like a Bachmann or something like that, or you know, a better controller anyway. By all means, if you have got any suggestions or feedback or anything, do leave your comments down below. I do appreciate your comments. As you saw last week, I do respond to every single one of them basically, and kind of give me some ideas and tips and hints on what I should be doing to improve the performance of the trains. Also, you can leave a message using the various social media channels I have available. I do appreciate all the feedback and stuff I get. Any hints and tips and stuff like that, it is really appreciated. And as you saw earlier, one of the tips that someone gave me, I did put it into practice, so I do take stuff on board. If you are interested in supporting the channel, you can always buy me a coffee. I do appreciate it. There are videos there you can watch as well. So in the meantime, I'm going to say thank you for watching. See you again next week, and enjoy these.